489 days, straight up Burpees.
He said that the WARTAC unit, those are the elitist, most trained Border Patrol agents in the group, and he says that they came rushing in. Law enforcement was involved, local law enforcement was involved, but also there was a Border Patrol agent that was very close by and went into this school and walked in. I believe that fourth grade classroom was right at the front entrance of the school, which was where most of this took place, where the kids were jumping out of windows and going to hide nearby at this funeral home just to get away from the shooter. But Tom Homan addresses those first responders that we really need to remember that they are heroes. There were 80 of them that responded to get these kids in touch with their parents outside of the school. Listen to Tom.
This unit, thank God, was nearby, so at least one of the WARTAC guys was able to get in there and take the subject out before he killed everybody else. And every first responder showed up. Think of the lives they saved if when they got in there, the shooter was not done. So, God bless him. God bless him for, facing gunfire, running toward gunfire when most citizens would not do that. So, once again, I'll say it again, that's not just for years. God bless the Border Patrol. They're the finest 1% this country has. God bless him. God bless law enforcement. It is something that we would never understand going into process a crime scene to gather loved ones and have to reunite them with their loved one that has been shot and killed. They have to process a crime scene. It is truly heartbreaking, some of the stories that I'm hearing from sources. The last thing I would say is, before I bring in the sheriff, so often when we're having these conversations, we don't want to get into a partisan debate. But in order for change to happen, it does have to go through the political process. And so often, this moment just passes us by. We say we remember the loved one. We say it'll never happen again, but we don't really do something. And so, Riddle and Ainsley, I think we had some great conversations. I just hope our leaders do something about it. And the safety of the school, making sure there are armed guards there, that we support the law enforcement officers being there as their last line of defense. Teachers shouldn't have to be human shields when we can have real law enforcement there with an actual shield and a piece of steel to defend those schools. So I just hope that we pick up that conversation through the legislative process as we go. Let's bring in King County Sheriff Radco. He sent his deputies to respond to the neighboring Uvalde County. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining the program. Tell us about what happened yesterday when you sent your sheriff's deputies to respond to the scene.
Good morning. Yesterday I got a call from my chief deputy. He had heard over the radio that there was an active shooter situation in Uvalde. And I didn't hesitate. I told him, roll that way, and I'll send him back and send 2 additional deputies from Kenny County. Plus, we also sent deputies from Galveston County down here to help us.
Number 32.
I think a total of 5 or 6 people to assist Uvalde County.
Tell us, and I don't want you to get into the investigation, but explain to us, because we're just talking about law enforcement and what you guys have to do. You have to immediately secure that scene. But tell us the aftermath of being there to support the Texas Department of Public Safety and the local law enforcement there on the ground. What that did to your deputies.
I've been talking to my deputies all through they are extremely upset. They are, we're going to have some serious counseling on this. It's something that we train for, something that, God, we never have to encounter. And yesterday, my deputies encountered.
Lawrence, I have a question for the sheriff as well. Sheriff, I know you're in Kenny County. That's right next door to Uvalde County. I'm curious about the timeline. When you first heard about the incident, when the announcement went out, sort of all hands on deck, there was aid needed in Uvalde. I'm curious, the timeline of when you first got that call to the point at which the situation was, I don't know the right word to use, resolved in hand, when the shooter was taken down. I'm curious about how long this entire situation played out.
47.
Well, for my team, we responded immediately as soon as we got word. over the course of the day, we were hearing various reports. I mean, 90% of it we did not put out because we didn't have the true numbers. We didn't have the facts. It wasn't until late yesterday afternoon that I finally got all the information. Of course, not being on the scene, I wasn't privy to all
48.
I'm not even going to question
49.
how soon, how long it took the information to get out. That's all
50.
in his hands. We're praying for him. I'm just
51.
in the backfield trying to support the new
I'm curious how long was it?
52.
I'm curious how long this went on. How long he
53.
was inside the school, if you have any information on that. How long this entire tragedy unfolded.
54.
Yeah, I don't have the information on exactly how long
55.
How long it was inside the school. I just know that there were several hours before I finally got all the
56.
information.
Sheriff Coe, did your deputies, can you kind of paint the picture for us?
56.
What they saw without being too graphic? I'm sure they saw the worst of the worst.
58.
Children that have been killed. But was the fourth grade classroom, were we
59.
walked in the school? Fourth grade classroom was close to the front door. That's where the active
60.
shooter walked in first. Kids were jumping out of the windows. What did they tell you? What
61.
happened? Can you paint the picture for us and tell us what their encounters were with the parents
62.
and stories they heard?
Of course, I didn't
63.
get a whole lot of the graphic of the details with the deputies. I know one of my deputies was assisting in identifying the bodies. He's got kids that age. Excuse me.
63.
It was tough on him. I've got him set up. He's going to stay account for today and tomorrow. And we got to get him right so we can protect the kids here in Kenny County.
Sheriff, we can hear the emotion in your voice. Law enforcement, we entrust you guys to go in there to deal with these situations so we don't have
64.
to. And you guys aren't often appreciated enough for taking those
65.
sacrifices, taking those emotional tolls going on there. What do you plan on
66.
doing for those law enforcement officers that have to go through this?
67.
Will counseling be provided for them? This is something that they will never forget.
68.
We'll have to counseling for them. We'll stay in touch with them.
69.
I see them every day. Just have to check on their well-being, their mental status.
70.
And my phone line's open to them 24/7. It always has been.
71.
Office. One of the things that we're looking at is a daily
72.
training for the deputies in a scenario like this. We do train in school
73.
every year, 2 or 3 times a year, in case something like this ever happens here.
74.
Sheriff, what do we tell our children? Is there anything
75.
they can do if they're in this situation?
76.
I visit with kids all the time here in Kenny County. To me, the thing
77.
is the truth. That this can happen. We try to prepare them what to do, but we're talking children, kids who may not comprehend it, but we have to tell them the truth.
But what do we tell them if they're in this situation and an active shooter, God forbid, ever walked in their classroom? What do they do?
We've told them, we've been through some scenarios, we've put on presentations, seek cover if you have to leave the building and run.
Oh, fear.
We'll find you later.
Almost there.
We've got some areas here within the city where they're supposed to go to if they are caught in the hallways or on outside the building. They know they can run to the local grocery store,
78.
the Baptist church across the street, anywhere that they can hide
79.
to prevent being injured.
80.
Sheriff Coe, thank you so much for what you're doing for the country and your deputies.
81.
Thank you for being our prayers this morning.
But thank you.
82.
God bless you too. Ainsley and Will,
83.
you can hear the emotion in the sheriff's voice. This
84.
is the part of the tragedy that's not talking about. Yes, we will continue
85.
all morning to highlight, as you beautifully did, Ainsley, the victim stories.
86.
We will also highlight the heroes, the teacher, Eva, who
87.
used her body as a shield. We will highlight the Border Patrol agents that are
88.
responsible with the special response unit that appeared on the scene that took out
89.
the gunman. But we also have to talk about the aftermath and the
90.
promotion that these sheriff deputies, local municipalities, and the Texas
91.
Department of Safety will be dealing with as they process this thing.
92.
First responder, but obviously
93.
also a human. You can hear that.
94.
as well. Okay, we'll be seeking more details and sharing them with you throughout the morning as well.
95.
Looking forward to what we can actually do to try to resolve or alleviate these
96.
horrific situations.
And we will see flags flying at half staff all across the country
97.
to remember these children and these two teachers.
And Carly Shimkus is with us as well, and she has additional headlines.
We're going to begin here with a Fox News alert.
99.
In Uvalde, Texas native Matthew McConaughey reacting to the devastating
100.
shooting in his hometown, writing in a statement, quote,
Last 16.
"Once again, we have tragically proven that we are failing
Last
to be
16.
responsible for the rights our freedoms grant us. Action must be taken so that no parent has to experience what the parents in Uvalde and others before them have endured." McConaughey reportedly says he supports the Second Amendment but believes in common sense gun reform. He has been inundated with messages asking him to travel to Uvalde. One social media user saying, quote, "This is your hometown. These are your people." The shooting expected to dominate the confirmation hearing for President Biden's nominee to lead the ATF. Steve Dettelbach just received a key endorsement from the National Sheriff's Association last week, urging lawmakers to confirm him. The hearing is set for 10 a.m. before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Listen, federal agents foil an ISIS plot to assassinate former President George W. Bush. An Iraqi citizen living in Columbus, Ohio, reportedly traveled to Dallas in November to take footage of the former president's home. He also planned to smuggle other terrorists into the country through the southern border to help him carry out an attack. According to the DOJ charging documents, he launched a plot in retaliation for Iraqi deaths during Operation Iraqi Freedom. That man has been arrested and charged. California gas prices in some areas soaring past federal minimum wage. The federal minimum is $7.25 per hour. Gas Buddy reported stations in the Bay Area, Southern California, and the Yosemite region
16.
are charging past that
That's a
for
wrap.
regular gallon of gas. The statewide average in California is $6.06. That's the highest in the country. Those are your headlines. Will, over to you.
All right, thank you, Carly.
Welcome.
So, operation reeling this morning after 19 children and 2 teachers are fatally shot inside their Texas school. Fox News
489 days straight.
is with us.
In the books.
Charlie, as you see this news,
160 burpees.
Yesterday, you wake up with it again this morning.
Woo.
What are your thoughts?
Feet hurt, legs soaring.
It's just,
Legs are sore, but still push through.
Heartbreaking. There are no words.
And
It's
just want to send
a tragedy of
my heart, my condolences
you imagine, you know.
to
Can you imagine
that school shooting
those parents,
and everybody that lost
obviously
their kids, 19
say
kids,
a prayer for them, and we say a
2
prayer,
teachers.
thanking
It's fucked
the
up.
incredible
But
courage
I'd like to pay my condolences to everybody who lost kids or who lost their kids or a family member in that shooting. World's fucked up, guys. Just
Yeah.
I don't know why
Charlie, it's natural for us
an
all
18-year-old,
some semblance of control,
some
semblance
asshole
of
18-year-old
solution
would
in
want to
these
take
horrific incidents.
an innocent life,
What do you
especially
do
little
this
kids.
morning?
Come on, man.
Can we
It's
clearly
pretty
have
sad. So
a metastasized
my heart and prayers
growing problem
to
in
their
this
families,
country. What can we do
and
about it?
let's stop the violence. And
I mean, not to oversimplify.
Yeah,
but,
just
you know, obviously there's
my heart condolences goes out to them.
We see play out in a
And,
situation like this.
yeah.
Clearly there is a
Fucked
real
up,
mental
messed up
illness
shooting
problem.
Anyway, guys, my heart and condolences goes out to the family,
You know, and
to the
don't
Texas family,
oversimplify
whoever
that.
lost their
I feel like,
kids
you know, we-
yesterday in that
you know,
shooting, and
people
489 days straight.
and get to know the
Can't
person
stop,
next
won't
to
stop.
them.
Love you guys. Mob out.
And in this case, you know, the shooter's family, you know, I'm interested in